Good afternoon. It's Sunday, January 2nd, and I'm finally ready to start the first pot of the new year. I haven't done one of these demos in a while, at least not on video, so I'm going to just cover a bunch of things really quickly. Okay, one thing that's going to raise a question immediately is, of course, the glove. This is based on the fact that I use these black plastic bats that have a texture to them that will actually grind away my fingernails, specifically that one, when I'm reaching under a pot and so forth. And this is my odd little solution for when I'm going to throw more than a couple. You know, I mean, one or two, it's not a big deal. But if I'm throwing more than one or two, I tend to lose track of what's going on, and it'll grind away that fingernail ultimately quite painfully. A similar thing can happen with this part of the thumbnail when I'm cleaning up bone dry pots. You know, I'll clean the burrs off the signature, and I'll just use my little thumbnail there. Okay, no big deal. You know, until you do 20 or 30 of them, and it's getting flat and potentially painful. In those cases, I just have to catch myself in time and, you know, use a tool or something like that. So I'm throwing some cone 6 porcelain. Do not be afraid of porcelain. It does not necessarily have to be harder to throw than anything else. I have not weighed my balls because I really don't care. You know, it's a size, and then I'm going to make the appropriate bowl for this size, and at some point the appropriate owner will own it. You know, okay, so I'm not worried about, you know, making my bowls match each other. That's not what I'm just getting back into the rhythm. And as I mentioned the other day, these are the bowls for the fundraiser that the Art Center does every February. And I looked it up, and I was right. They're not doing the meal part of it. Instead, they've sort of flipped it, and they're asking people to bring food to donate to food banks. Anyway. So I'm trying to think, you know, I'm here just getting back into the groove, whatever. But then part of me is going, well, what would a beginning or intermediate ceramic student want to know about what I'm doing? You know, what questions would they bring up? I don't know. We'll see if I can think of them. So far, it's all about, you know, being steady. You can't have a steady pot being created by an unsteady potter. And in the 60s in particular, there was a whole thing about, you know, to center the clay, first you must center the potter. Okay. I don't know about being centered, but we'll go with not wobbly. Okay, so normally I'd use a needle tool, but I didn't think to clean one. I have a little air bubble. Okay. So, and I'm just using the curve of the wood rib to create the curve of the inside of the bowl. Most bowls, and I've done previous videos about bowls, at least in Western or American culture, most bowls get used with a spoon. We're beginning to get into bowls that would get used with a set of chopsticks. And, you know, potentially there's salad bowls that are getting used with forks. But because of the spoon, it's the spoon that governs, for me anyway, how I want that inside curve of the bowl to be. I want it to have no issues interacting with the curve of the spoon. You know, once you set that up as your goal, you're pretty much okay. Now you may have noticed I haven't really done anything with the outside. No rib, no hand. Okay, so what I did was I did enough throws to get my wall thickness even, consistent. And then I shaped the inside wall, which automatically governs the shape of the outside wall. And I know I'm going to be trimming it. I have to put a foot ring on it and so forth. So I'm not particularly worried about those little lines. You know, I don't mind that they exist, but I'm not going to bemoan trimming them away, and I'm not trying to keep them either. I've seen people, I find it humorous, well, they'll throw a perfectly clean-walled item, bowl or cup, and then go back to install artificial throwing marks because somehow the customers find that sexier. Okay, so here's a thing I've been trying recently. I got one of these roulette tools and add a little texture to the inside of the rim. It can't be too deep because, you know, it's going to mess with glazes if it is, and spoons. But it can give a little more complexity to the glaze right there. And in general, the food isn't right there at the rim. So, okay. Oh, a lot of practice. Okay. So yesterday I talked about longevity. Just now cleaning my tools, the water bowl I use, this one, it's salt plate. Anyway, the date on it is 1987. I made it while I was in grad school in Iowa. Okay. So, there we go. First bowl of the new year. Happy New Year.